Senator Tim Scott. He's the lead Republican on the Banking Committee, and it's good to see you in this context, Senator. Maybe we'll touch on some of some of those other nagging issues that we have facing us. But let's focus on what's going on today. And what do you think is the right amount of regulation at this point? What are the CEOs pushing back against exactly? And do you agree with them or agree that there needs to be more capital and more regulation?
You know, the real question we should ask ourselves is how do we make sure that the American dream is alive and well and healthy for the average person who today may be growing up in poverty or working paycheck to paycheck? The question is, you think about Basel III, the end game. How is a higher capital standard going to make our economy healthier or safer? The answer is it does neither. Therefore, having more regulations will not actually make our economy healthier, and it will not make our banks safer. So why would we go down a road of what I consider a nightmare of regulatory burdens that will restrict capital in the marketplace, which means fewer loans for small businesses, fewer homes for first-time buyers, and a strong challenge, headwinds against the American dream? Why our regulators, our bank regulators, think that responding to a liquidity concern with SVB by having new capital standards is the answer or the solutions. It's not. They are literally providing solutions looking for a problem.
It happens a lot, though, Senator.
Unfortunately.
After something happens, sometimes we respond to what caused the last thing when it has nothing to do with what's going to cause the next thing.
The next thing, right.
Do you find yourself sort of aligned with the industry, with the bankers, and pushing back against your colleagues from the other side of the aisle? Is that what you spend most of your time doing at this point?
When you think about the fact, what has happened under this radical left move to try to make everything safe in America? Well, we have higher inflation, which led to higher interest rates, which means we have a slowing down of the economy. 2024, I think, will be much slower than 2023. And as a result of that, adding new regulatory burden that puts more capital on the sidelines means that fewer Americans will have access to better jobs, higher income, and frankly, more businesses. All of that will reverse upon the American people, reverse the fortune of a strong economy brought through to us through 2017 through 2020, allowed us to weather the pandemic because we had a strong economic footing. This next year, we'll see a reversal of some of that fortune that we've been able to benefit from the last couple of years. If we have more burdensome regulations, we'll have fewer economic outcomes that lead us in the right direction.
There must be a level that's just right, though, because we know that, I mean, a lot of people would say that regulations were too lax. Now, I don't even know if that is what caused the financial crisis, whether it was regulations were too lax. There were a lot of factors. But if regulations aren't strong enough, they bring in a period like that, which then results in calls for much higher capital, much tighter regulations. So it can almost be self-fulfilling. There must be a level that's like a Goldilocks, just right.
Yeah.
Not too warm, not too cold.
Yeah, I think you're thinking about the sweet spot. And if you think about 2007 to 2009 and our response or reaction to the economic crisis of that time, we created stress tests. We made sure that the banks would be able to have enough capital, not to just go through it again, but to go through it something twice as large as what we went through. When you have that kind of capital sitting on the sidelines, then you've actually prevented the next crisis where the real question is, are these banks too big to fail? Here's my thought. Every time you increase the regulatory burden beyond what it is today, you actually insulate these banks to making more bad decisions, not better decisions, because we have made, not we, but the left have made these GSIBs too big to fail. And so they're looking at creating utilities in the banking sector. That's not good for the American economy, and it certainly isn't good for the American consumers.